My name is Ivan Sokinyi. I head the East Africa Philanthropy Network. We were created 23 years ago when they were working around the regional economic blocks, the East Africa community and all that. So we were created to bring together philanthropic organizations which were working in East Africa to promote local giving. So we support the philanthropy infrastructure. We look into building a great ecosystem that can promote unlocking of domestic capital. In other words, promoting local charity, local giving, local philanthropy.
This conversation that we are having today is very important and very relevant to the sector where we are implementing development or humanitarian interventions. We in East Africa have been challenged this morning to think differently, to be more agile and to be more creative in finding resources to support the communities that we work with. One of the key things that has actually personally challenged me is that we cannot continue promoting a system that is already dying by itself. But we need to be catalysts of a new system or a new model that we ourselves can help the communities to get the solutions of the problems that they have. And so a lot of what is happening right now is a lot of challenge in terms of how we have been doing things in the past and how we need to change our systems, how we need to really work on the ecosystem to develop new modalities of fundraising for the communities we work with.
We are having quite interesting discussions regarding sustaining philanthropy within the East African setup. I think we need to be more strategic in terms of looking at the fragility within the philanthropy sector. We need to look inward as well. Aspects regarding the community philanthropy should be given more attention, but again, aspect of really becoming more flexible in terms of funding, realizing the purpose of the communities that are on the ground and how these communities at the forefront in terms of, bringing their discussion to this conversation. So we're talking about flexibility in funding. For us, we've brought two grantee partners in this conference with us, the partners that we co-created with them, the purpose for us to get additional funding where they are operating in Kenya. So collaboration with various stakeholders on the ground, community members to be at the forefront is really helpful to ensure that funding is more sustainable. But again, we are also looking inward from community philanthropy. Everybody should be brought on board.
I am thrilled, I am privileged to be attending the East Africa Philanthropy Network Conference that is happening in Kigali, Rwanda. This is coming at the right time. We think it's an epic moment at a time when the funding dynamics are totally changing. We know you say it has cut and a lot more is going to be happening. It's a time for organizations, for the civil society, for all these different stakeholders to come together and rethink, the connotation around funding, the connotation around sustainability, the connotation around how do we break the news to even the beneficiaries we've been serving for all these years. We are looking at local resource mobilization. It could be just, matching the funds with family members, with friends, but that means it doesn't cut the services you've been providing to the beneficiaries. It might lengthen the momentum, lengthen the enrollment, but at least the activity continues over and over again. Then we also need to think of the things we've been doing for all this time long. Can we think of the exit plan? For how long do projects run? We've had projects that have run for 10 years, 20 years. Now we need to redesign. For how long can this take? Can we do 1 year and this 1 year is impactful? Instead of counting numbers, you count the significance, you count the impact, so that the work we are doing means a lot to the people we serve, but also to the civil society world, where we have been best for all this time long. I know it's hard, I know it's going to be trying, but we need to redesign the wheel. We need to think outside the box. Are we going to depend on the donors for all this time long? Or how have we been surviving if time A, time B, this is going to be happening? So I think it's an epic moment to learn from you, to learn from me, to learn from everyone. How can we redefine sustainability?
So one of the voices that not really being left out, but we really need to be intentional about bringing to the table the non-traditional actors that have always been part and parcel of these conversations that we are having. I think for a very long time, we have handled development in isolation as sectors, as you know, so civil society is approaching their work as civil society, private sector is approaching development as private sector, and the government also as government. What we are doing with the conference, and that's why you are seeing private sector well represented here, civil society well represented, and the government equally well represented, is to ensure that they understand and appreciate the fact that none of us can work in isolation. We all need to pull our efforts together, we all need to bring our resources together, and we all need to leverage so that we can push the development agenda. So the first actor are the non-traditional actors, for example, the private sector. The second actor, again, that we need to be very intentional about engaging are communities. As you heard in the morning, we are being told, and we've known, of course, for some time, we just need to be very intentional about it, around bringing communities to the table and understanding that communities know the solutions to the challenges that they are facing. Understanding that communities really have the power, the mandate actually, to champion their development agenda. And so we are hosting this conference to really challenge the status quo and to really make people understand, to make the stakeholders understand that we've got to bring communities along this journey that we are walking, from conceptualization of the designs that we are talking about to the implementation, all the way to the sustainability conversations that we need to have. I think we need to get to a level when we'll be asking ourselves, when do we exit as the people who are here and leave the development work in the hands of communities? I think lastly is, of course, the general public. We've got to really understand and appreciate that the biggest resource that we have are the citizens. We tap into the trust currency, and we will be guaranteed that the citizens will be part and parcel of the conversations that we'll be having.